Now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, Top Rank Incorporated, along with the undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, proud to be your bud, presents Professional Championship Boxing for your entertainment. This bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization and the California State Athletic Commission. Chairman for California, William Eastman. Vice Chairman, Willie Buchanan. Commissioners at ringside, Kim Welshans, Jerry Nathanson, and former welterweight champ of the world, Carlos Palomino. Executive Officer, Richard DeCure. Physicians at ringside, Dr. Robert Carnes, Dr. Pelvin Hicks, and Dr. Adam Carnes. The timekeeper for this contest is John Lichty. WBO Supervisor ringside, Francisco Farcasel. WBO judges assigned scoring the bout on a 10-point must system are Jess Andreasen, Raul Caiz, and Wiso Fernandez. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, referee Lou Moret. And now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, part 2 of the grand opening of the Grand Olympic Auditorium here in the City of Angels. Let's get ready to rumble! 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Junior Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the gold trunks with black trim, weighing 128 3/4 pounds, from East Los Angeles, California, undefeated with a record of 11-0, 10 by KO. He's the 1992 Olympic gold medal champion. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the undefeated challenger, the pride of East LA, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with white trim, weighing 130 pounds even, from Copenhagen, Denmark. Also undefeated, his record 16-0, 5 KOs to his credit. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the undefeated WBO Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Jimmi Bredahl.
Oscar? Both fighters, Jim, look like they could use a good square meal or two.
I don't like to see a guy come into his hometown smiling so much before a fight. Oscar, never seen him smile.
That first fight was right out of one of the movies they used to stage here, Jim and George. I wonder what Oscar De La Hoya can do to top it or match it.
Well, the stage has certainly been set by James Toney. And now the challenge is there for De La Hoya. Solid right hand to begin round 1. No evidence that Bredahl is ready to pressure De La Hoya as he claimed he was.
De La Hoya surprised me. He's throwing one punch at a time.
Well, maybe he's been lured into thinking of himself as a knockout artist, George.
Yeah, you can't do that. You got to stick to what gets you over. Set up everything behind a jab, then throw numbers.
Oscar is naturally left-handed, but fights from a right-handed stance. It's the lightweight inverse of Michael Moore, a natural right-hander who fights as a southpaw in the heavyweight division. What it means is that his lead hand, his jab hand, is also his strongest and best hand. And he finishes every combination, if he can, with a left hook. It's probably his most dangerous punch.
The younger guys, when they are good punchers, have a tendency to taste the guy's power.
Oh, look at the grin from De La Hoya as he drops Bredahl with one right hand. And that's the first time Bredahl's ever been on the canvas. And Bredahl is looking at De La Hoya with a look that says, don't get too cocky. But I'm not sure Bredahl is strong enough to be in the ring with Oscar.
Oscar's a great finisher.
This could be over fast. No action in return from Bredahl as De La Hoya fires away with both fists. What a show.
Oscar Oscar's a great finisher, but you've got to respect an opponent. He knows that 12 rounds is where the fight could go.
Crowd on its feet already as De La Hoya tries to cultivate his image as boxing's baby-faced killer.
Believe me, if Oscar wins this title, the WBO will suddenly be the place.
Well, maybe at 130 pounds. Although there's evidence that his managers were steering him away from one of the three existing titleists from the other organizations, Gennaro Hernandez.
Oscar's forgetting to jab and set things up. Put it all back together like he did from the first.
Expectations are so high, and this round has been so impressive that the crowd may be mildly disappointed if he doesn't produce a first-round knockout.
Oscar's only landed one body punch. When you throw away a lot of energy like that, you've got to invest something back into the body.
Bredahl makes it out of round one.
Bredahl did press Hoya early in the round, left himself open, and caught that straight right hand. It was more of a flash knockdown. He was composed throughout it, got up, and survived the round.
Pensando con su jab. Está trabajando. Sígame trabajando. Está trabajando muy bien.
Trainer Robert Alcazar with a final pat on the back for De La Hoya as he goes out for round two.
Oscar started back to the body, which was great. Go to the body. You've not had a knockdown. Now invest in making this guy lose his power for the latter round.
And as we watch for signs of the future champion in De La Hoya, the return to body punching at the beginning of round two is about as good an omen as you could look for.
He was hurt this time, Oscar was.
He's been knocked down before. He was knocked down by Narciso Valenzuela in his last fight, October 30.
Oscar's got to remember, he got that flash knockdown when Bredahl was pressing him. He didn't get it by going after him. He's got to make him come to him again.
Left hook snapped Bredahl's head to the side.
Good
Great
right
right hand
hand
again. Yep. That's a punch you can land against a southpaw if you throw it at the right time.
Oscar's got to allow him to come forward a little bit to be more accurate with that shot.
Bredahl trying a left-hand lead, didn't commit to it too much. Probably felt too much leather already. De La Hoya backing him up with the jab.
Now the best thing has happened. Oscar's starting to use his left jab.
Boy, he is strong for this weight, George.
Bredahl is no chump. He takes a punch and he tries to get up and get a few more in.
Well, he's very cocky. He thinks he's terrific. And he thinks he's fought better fighters than Oscar De La Hoya, although the list of opponents is an anonymity. Yep. Here we go. Bredahl down again.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You okay? This is good. Come on.
Plenty of time left in round two.
Oscar's got to be patient. Set this thing back up.
Three-knockdown rule is in effect in this fight.
But they have to come in one round, Jim.
That's right. Solid Solid right hands.
A lot of leaping by Oscar. If this fight goes beyond 6 rounds, he may have to pay for that.
Wouldn't mind seeing more body punching, would you, George?
That's the only way you can ensure that the guy doesn't have his power left in a lot of rounds.
And the final flurry from De La Hoya as round 2 comes to a close. Crowd beginning to get its money's worth here. Well, in fact, let's face it, they already got their money's worth in the Tony drama.
Let's see if we can catch the fight where he initially staggers Bredahl. It appeared to be the first left hand, followed by that last right hand that hurt Bredahl. As you can see, Oscar De La Hoya is a picture boxer puncher.
And the hand speed blur as he throws those combinations. Shades of Sugar Ray Leonard seated in the front row at ringside.
Thing that troubled me, Oscar's landing a lot of good shots, but they're hitting the gloves of the champion a lot more than hitting the target.
Bredahl trying to be more assertive as round 3 begins. He's been knocked down in each of the first 2 rounds. Quiet time for a moment here.
The champion Bredahl has tasted the best power that Oscar has at this point. So his confidence can do nothing but grow now.
Great left hand landed for Bredahl. De La Hoya trying to go back to the right hand lead. Stalking, but properly cautious for the moment. Just misses with the right.
This time Oscar should do some faking, feinting they call it. Move your hand, tricking.
Right hand landed for Bredahl. Oscar answered with a left. Body punch. Sets up a right hand that almost got him. Didn't quite get there. Slapping with the left, but now a hard right hand, and into the rope goes Bredahl again.
Okay.
Crowd thinks referee Lou Moret was a little hasty in breaking him up. The chant you may hear from time to time is East LA, East LA. Largely Latino community where De La Hoya grew up.
Good left hook by Oscar De La Hoya. But at this point, he's putting too much power into every punch. Got to pace yourself in these lighter weights.
Yeah, and he's deteriorated to 1 punch at a time. Combinations only when he feels the chance to move forward like there.
Oscar would only fake that jab down to the stomach a few times and then start his punches.
Interestingly, Bredahl had promised us a lot of body punching, saying that he didn't think De La Hoya had proved himself as one who could take it to the ribcage yet. But Jimmy hasn't been able to go to the body much because he's been defending himself too much, George.
That's right. He's starting to switch hit now. He turned from left to right, southpaw to left-hander.
And a quiet round 3 comes to a close.
Looking so perfect, so unblemished, his mind uncluttered by doubt.
If you're going to be a good pro in the lighter weights, you're going to have to learn to pace yourself in these rounds. 1/3 into the fight, 1/3 away, you've got to start jabbing. Just keep your lead. You get a second win a little later on to finish him off again if you can.
You think Oscar's in control of that, George?
I don't think so. He's walking forward. Sometimes the right foot is bumping into his left foot, crossing over once.
Bredahl landed a left hand in there. Another left hand gets in just under the chin. De La Hoya reaching now.
De La Hoya's feet are starting to catch up with one another. You're never supposed to let your right foot catch up with your left foot.
Is it a sign of overeagerness?
Yep, and it's the time when you're following a guy around. Boxing is defense at all times. Defend yourself at all times. Don't walk into a trap.
The manly art of self-defense. There's some serious self-defense. A couple of hard shots landed on Bredahl there, and Jimmi elects to get in a hug to set himself up again.
A lot of frustration by Oscar. He's doing the right things. This guy's just not going down right. Frustrating for a puncher. When you go for someone's title, they're not just going to hand it to you.
But logic tells you that De La Hoya is piling up a lead on the scorecards here. Stamina could become a factor if the bout goes a long way. De La Hoya's never been farther than 8 rounds. Bredahl, on the other hand, has gone past 10 rounds 3 times.
Oscar may have to say to himself, this fight may go the distance now. Let me beat him decisively.
I don't think that's what he's thinking, George.
Well, the young guys, it's hard to tell them that some guys just can't knock them out because you're hitting them in the head.
Good body shots from De La Hoya.
Let's go, don't push.
Again, the crowd thinks that Moret is too solicitous of open ring action. Shouldn't have broken him up quite so quickly. This is the ultimate hometown crowd.
Sometimes that hometown crowd can push you to do things that you ought not to do.
Oh, remember Holyfield getting in trouble in Atlanta against Burt Cooper? Michael Nunn getting himself knocked out in Davenport, Iowa against James Toney?
You try to go out and do too much to impress your buddies, and hey, just win. That's all that counts. If you're going to be a good champion, you've got to use your jab. Left jab.
Bredahl from an opponent and a fighter into a survivor.
I just got one question, Larry. If he gets knocked out here, is he still the champion of Tivoli Gardens in Copenhagen?
I suspect he is.
4 rounds, our punch stat numbers tell us that De La Hoya has landed 41% of his blows. Bredahl, only 19%.
Bredahl believes that he's still in this fight, that in the latter rounds, Oscar will tire.
Right hand got up underneath De La Hoya's guard. Bredahl working hard to try to follow up with the left hand. Missing wildly, but Oscar knows he's in there.
Hold it, break it, come on.
That's a willing piece of aggression by Bredahl. That's the pressure he promised. Problem is, it'll get him too much of this.
The crowd expects Bredahl to impale himself on De La Hoya's fists.
And they're outraged when he refuses to do it. Great right hand landed for De La Hoya. So did the left. But Bredahl was moving away.
Bredahl instinctively should, as soon as Oscar finishes slowly, jump right back on him. He's not fighting like a guy who really wants to keep his title. Oscar is looking down at the body, tipping his hand what he's trying to do.
Telegraphing his body punches, huh?
Doing
Left
it
hand
with his
inside.
eyes. Shouldn't let a guy know what you look thinking.
Well, of course, he's got those big liquid brown eyes, George, which Madison Avenue believes will sell billions of dollars worth of products.
And I believe as much too. This guy is a good representative of young people. He tells me to buy something, even if it's perfume.
You can get that for your wife, Joan.
Yeah.
It's okay. De La Hoya pacing himself a little bit as round 5 comes to a close. I think he's accepted the notion now that it's not an easy knockout.
Yeah, he's bouncing.
Keep the nails way up. Way up, Oscar. Run that into your leg.
Descanso.
Rest a little bit. Just relax.
Respire profundo.
Breathe in pretty heavy. Round 6 begins. The end of this stanza would be the halfway point of this scheduled 12-round bout.
If the champion is going to do it, he's better come on right now. Build up, take it to the judges, and win a few of these rounds. Good body punch.
Existing 130-pound world championships are held by Genaro Hernandez, Azuma Nelson, and John Molina. As you watch De La Hoya go to work again to try to finish Bredahl, we'll point out that it's highly unlikely his management would ever let him near a fighter like Azuma Nelson at this stage of his career. They seem to have dodged Genaro Hernandez for the moment, and De La Hoya has sparred, I should say, with John Molina in the gym in the past. He says he always got the best of Molina.
Bredahl should charge him right now and win this round.
There's blood from Bredahl's nose.
Blood below the left nostril for Bredahl.
Oscar's got this bounce in his legs now. This is confidence for a young fighter when they do that. They're very confident. I can go on all night.
He's chasing Bredahl. Is he doing a good enough job of cutting off the ring, George?
He's not cutting out the ring at all. He's following him, but he's bouncing along with it, which is a sign when you got young fighters, if they bounce, they're happy. When they stop bouncing, they're sad.
But this cutting off the ring deal is one of the hardest things for a young fighter to learn and remember, right?
That's right, because you got to make the ring a small place. When you let a guy circle the whole ring, you've missed the boat.
And this, incidentally, is a spacious ring.
And Bredahl is able to move from one corner to another. You cut it off by leaving him one corner and don't allow him to leave that corner.
A parenthetical observation, gentlemen. From the dressing rooms, we learned that James Toney has had 12 stitches put into the cut above his left eye. It's the most stitches that Toney has had in his career. And they're deep, too.
It's very, very hard to look good against a fighter like Bredahl. And I think
we looked for any signs of a cut on Bredahl. It didn't appear that there was one, so that blood which we saw under his nose was probably a trickle from the nostril.
If Bredahl is going to win this fight at this point, he's got to search for a knockout.
If Bredahl is going to win this fight at this point, George, he's going to have to get NATO involved, I think.
I don't know if the British and the French want to go to war here.
Not against De La Hoya. Now the crowd chants, Oscar, Oscar, Oscar.
Oscar's got to remain calm and forget about the crowd.
Well, at least Bredahl is staying close enough now to give him some opportunities. He knew he'd try an uppercut. He kept staying that close, and he landed the second uppercut flush.
Oscar's strategy has been to keep winning each round, and the strategy has paid off thus far.
Yeah, he's about 100 points ahead at this point.
Bredahl is starting to land short right hooks.
Oh, there's a solid right hand from De La Hoya. Bredahl steps in, goes to the left, to the body.
Break clean, break clean, break clean.
Bredahl much more aggressive in this round. His confidence seeming to return gradually. There's another De La Hoya flurry. Right, left, left. Bredahl thinks he got thumbed in the eye.
Yeah. Bredahl is extremely fast. You see him a minute, and next thing you know, you throw 3 punches, he's out of range.
Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it.
You are so gracious. You have this amazing capacity to find a way to compliment a fighter who is losing badly in a one-sided fight. I love it, George. What a heart beats within this massive body of yours. Straight up the middle, De La Hoya.
When De La Hoya uses his left jab, there's no contest. And it looks good.
You know, this thing about telegraphing punches with his eyes, George, he might benefit from looking at some videotapes of James Toney, who's a master of looking in one place and hitting you in another.
That's correct. De La Hoya's going to hit you in the body. He looks there first.
Left hand landed inside for De La Hoya. Backing Bredahl up again as round 7 comes to a close. Another one-sided round in favor of East Los Angeles' Olympic gold medalist, Oscar De La Hoya.
Oscar De La Hoya is winning all the way around. My scoring must be improving, Harold, because I agree with you.
So Oscar De La Hoya enters the 8th round for only the 2nd time in his career. Only once before has he gone this far. That was against Mike Bredahl in Rochester, New York, April 6, 1993, almost a year ago. Bredahl says, let me hold you. I like it better that way.
Watch the head, watch the head.
The great Carlos Palomino watching at ringside across the way. He had a couple of terrific fights. Now, De La Hoya believes he's been butted by Bredahl, and referee Lou Moret allows him to get his bearings before they start again. Lead right by De La Hoya. Bredahl backs up. Left hook, and to the body. A little bit of a mean streak from Oscar, and Moret says, hey, don't hit him in the liver when I'm breaking you apart like that.
Sometimes it gets awful frustrating, especially this is a southpaw, so that punch to the side like that wouldn't have been like that if it had been a right-hander. You're doing everything you can, and you can't get a knockout. You're young. You think everybody's supposed to fall.
One more time.
Oscar's energy boiling over here. Referee Lou Moret becoming increasingly unpopular in Los Angeles.
He's having to keep order in that ring.
Is he doing the right thing, George?
He's doing the right thing. Oscar's at home. He thinks he can do anything he wants, but at the same time, a referee, he's got to be equal in his judgment toward it.
Did Oscar do the right thing to pop the liver when he had a chance?
No, he wouldn't have.
It was a foul, right?
It wouldn't have happened if Bredahl had been a right-hander. His body was on wrong and made it look like he was hitting him in the back. When you look down, it's over. It's too late then.
An angry Oscar De La Hoya, inciting the passions of this big crowd. A near sellout in the new Grand Olympic Auditorium. Since 1925, the beating heart of boxing on the West Coast.
Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it.
What a night.
me times here when I think I'm watching Torville and Dean. There's the danger of a long fight like this. Anything can happen. And there you saw a butt that got De La Hoya in the eye and rankled him a bit.
Okay, come on.
No damage.
So this now becomes the longest fight of Oscar De La Hoya's long career. More than 200 amateur bouts, 11 as a professional. This is the first time he's ever had to go past 8 rounds. Round 8 was another pitiful output for Jimmi Bredahl, who only threw 19 punches in the round. You can't be busier than that. You're just leaving too many opportunities for De La Hoya to get off.
Oscar has to be in extremely good conditioning to be able to throw that many punches and even miss from time to time. Still have the eye of a finisher.
Well, we're going to find out what kind of conditioning he's got, George, as he now goes into closing rounds.
Bredahl is not going back after him when Oscar finishes his rally. Get right back on him.
De La Hoya trains at altitude in Big Bear, California, in the San Bernardino Mountains. His friends and trainer Robert Alcazar say that he is an eager trainer, boxing's version of a gym rat. He's been doing this since he was 6 years old. We asked De La Hoya yesterday what other sports he played as a child. He said none. I was boxing all the time.
Oscar's got to be careful when he throws his right hand not to take his body forward. He could get cut like Tony did.
Bredahl is not too fond of De La Hoya's right-hand lead. He's begun to back away as soon as Oscar cocks the throw.
Oscar's a sitting duck charging in. That left-hander's head is just missing his head each time. One butt, and that could be a bad cut.
Already had one butting of heads in this fight that could have produced a cut. Didn't do so. In case you joined us late, in our first main event of the evening, we had scintillating drama as James Toney, bleeding badly from a cut over his left eye caused by a headbutt on the part of challenger Tim Littles, rallied to score a dramatic knockout of Littles in a fight that would shortly have been stopped had Toney not been able to get the finish himself.
In the big picture, this is a useful fight for De La Hoya. He's going to go the distance with this opponent, apparently. Keep him working hard. What did I just say?
Don't worry, Larry. You were just dreaming it. You didn't say it.
Hey, you okay? You sure?
Maybe Bredahl has had enough of this.
Yeah, it looked that way to me. Yeah. Third knockdown of the fight. The others came in rounds 1 and 2. Bredahl looks utterly weary, and referee Lou Moret has to be thinking stoppage pretty soon if De La Hoya continues this onslaught.
Hold it. Let him go. You okay, Jimmy? You okay?
Again, the crowd says, Lou, why did you stop him? Remember, these 3 knockdowns represent the first time in Bredahl's 17-fight career that he's ever been on the deck. And he, of course, has never been knocked out, unbeaten coming into the fight.
Oscar lands one shot and throws 4 more anyway. That's the sign of a great champion.
Cut the ring, keep him here in the corner. Didn't do it.
He allows him to circle and circle and circle.
Well, that's something to work on for sure.
But then a lot of it is because he's a southpaw. The champion is a southpaw.
He's also very good at circling.
That's the truth.
Couple of more lead right hands, and he might go from a not-so-great Dane to a melancholy Dane.
He just was not prepared for the power of Oscar De La Hoya. Weighed in at 128, but believe me, he's punching like 147.
30 seconds left in round 10. How much more of this does Jimmi Bredahl want? Can he find an opening to do some damage himself? No, he'd rather grab and hold for the moment.
He's a gutsy kid.
You can't see, you can't breathe, and the referee asks, "Are you okay?"
Bredahl makes it out of round 10. And Robert Alcazar acts as though the fight is over as he races into the middle of the ring to embrace his charge. Now the doctor steps into the corner to take a look at Bredahl.
He almost stopped one fight already, and he may be stopping this one.
No.
In California, either the referee or the doctor can stop the fight. And the doctor here says, enough. And you know what? Bredahl doesn't entirely disagree. So Oscar gets his TKO. The discussion in Bredahl's corner seemed to center on how much punishment he had taken. And Jimmy's answer seemed to be, I've taken a lot.
Are you okay? The ref continues to ask. No, I'm not okay.
That's the wrong answer.
Thank you very much.
So De La Hoya moves to 12-0. Those who recognize the WBO, the World Boxing Organization, as a legitimate title-granting organization, and for our purposes, that would make 4 in the sport. So officially here at HBO, we don't acknowledge them. But those people who do would say that De La Hoya has now won the first of his world championships. He says his goal is to win titles in 6 different weight classes. That was the reason for fighting for a title at 130 pounds, so that he can ultimately win titles at 130, 135, 140, 147, 154, and 160 pounds. Let's take a look back at some of the punishment from the last round, George. Here's the knockdown.
So many punches landed in the same part of the face each time. That comes back with one each time. It's hard to recover.
Now here's the big right. Boom.
That can be frustrating. You land a shot like that and the guy's still on his feet.
Yeah, but that's the kind of punch that makes the doctor say, I'm not sure I want to see what happens if he lands it again. Right now, let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Lou Moret, acting on the advice of physician at ringside, Dr. Adam Carnes, calls a halt to the bout at the end of round 10. The winner by technical knockout and new WBO Junior Lightweight Champion of the world, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
Final punch that.
Tony's fight, did it have any effect on you? Did you want to do better than him? What was your impression going after?
When you have a fighter who is good at, like James Toney, and he puts on an excellent performance. He did very, very good. it puts you more pressure so you could try harder and make you want to show off more and make the audience cheer more for you. So it did add a little more power to me. It psyched me up more, and my game plan was very good. I felt very, very strong. Okay, he's a very well-talented little boxer, and I give him a lot of credit.
What was the difficulty of following up on your knockdowns? Was he just tough and quick?
Well, a southpaw is really difficult when you go in there and try to throw your punches. You're so used to fighting a right-handed boxer that when you fight a left-handed boxer, it's a whole different game. It's a whole different plan that you have to sort out up in the ring, and that's what happened. But I caught him up in later rounds.
Let's take a look at the last knockdown in the 10th round, which ended the fight really. Tell us what you see.
I was just putting a lot of pressure to him. He couldn't just stand the pressure because I felt very, very strong. I felt that I was in command, and it was just a matter of time that he would go down and lose the fight.
Now this is the end of the fight. Did you punch enough to the body in this fight, Oscar?
I really couldn't punch to the body a lot because of his left-hand style. But later on, I started to throw the right hook to the body, and they kind of worked. But I knew that I had to throw different punches, come up in different angles to win the fight.
What kind of feelings and impressions do you have about following your father and grandfather into this arena and fighting here?
Yeah, well, first of all, I would like to thank the Needleman family and Mr. Bob Barron, the best promoter in the world, to having given me this opportunity of reopening the Grand Olympic Auditorium. And it was just a great honor for myself because my father fought here, my grandfather fought here, and now for me to fight here is just the best thing that could ever happen to Los Angeles and myself.
Do you feel that you still have to win over the hardcore, skeptical, tough fans in East Los Angeles?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, fans are never going to be happy. People are never going to be happy. There's always going to be positive and negative critics out there, and I feel very, very confident that in the future I will come up against the best fighters in the world, and hopefully I will do well because this is my first year in boxing, and I just have to develop more strength and more endurance and just physical strength that I need.
You fought at 130 pounds. You weren't sure whether you'd be comfortable here. Do you want to stay here or do you want to move up?
I felt very strong. I felt very powerful and fast. I believe, see how it goes maybe in 3 weeks, see how I feel. If my body grows into a lightweight or if I'll move up higher, who knows?
Will you fight some of the outstanding fighters in your weight classifications here in Los Angeles like Gennaro Hernandez and the Rellis brothers? And since you're managing your career, you tell us what your timetable is.
Well, my timetable is to develop a little more experience, and eventually I'll be fighting the best in the world from Los Angeles, from anywhere in the world, and I just need a little more time, and only I know when I've developed that strength and power to beat any champion out there.
Well, at least for tonight, you were an excellent manager as well as a fighter. Thank you, Oscar De La Hoya.
Thank you, sir.
And back to you, Jim and George.
All right, Larry.